Yeah.
The St. Louis Cardinals were your pick to win the NL Central.
Yeah. Thank you for leading with that. I appreciate that. Is that how you're going to introduce them for the rest of the season? When they're like 20 games under 500, you're just going to keep telling me that I'm
just going to keep saying that because you have been high on the Cardinals and a Cardinals defender for a couple years now. They got swept at home by the Brewers. Mm-hmm. Where are you at now? Are you jumping ship? Would you pick another team in the NL Central today if I gave you the opportunity?
So part of the reason why I keep saying no is that it's because I don't want to pick between the other ones as much as I do want to pick the Cardinals, because I still don't know what I'm looking at between the Brewers and Cubs. But of course, from a strictly confidence standpoint, you have to feel better about those two teams. Yeah, again, at this point, I said it last week when it was like, oh, are you jumping ship here? I was like, listen, as long as Arenado and Goldie are bad hitters, then they're going to be doomed from the start. I was baking in that they were going to be very good players. Arenado has picked it up. He's been better, but Goldie has got a 507 OPS, and Jordan Walker has been atrocious. That's one other thing I've been completely wrong on. Right,
Victor Scott's
gone. He's back, but that's not his fault. He was not supposed to be playing in the big leagues. But yeah, he hit 085, but that wasn't shocking. And now he goes back to AAA. Listen, it's possible they're going to be in too big of a hole again, but there's still, we'll get Edman back here at some point. But the pitching, I swear I have not seen Miles Mikolas pitch well. And I know he threw 300 innings last year, whatever. Every time I turn his start on, he's giving up a home run. I just don't know what to make of it. This is just no reason to be excited about the pitching staff. So
we make a living knowing things about baseball. I just want to expose us here. Jordan, I believe before the season, we were asked by the folks at Yahoo Fantasy, who is a veteran player who still has it? You said Kyle Gibson.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna stick on this one. I'm not even kidding. I'm not. Kyle Gibson is not even the top 3 or 4 of my Cardinals concerns.
Okay, because I said Carlos Santana, and he has been the worst hitter in baseball.
Yeah, that one was even. So, all right, so maybe we'll both take massive L's there. But thank you for pointing that out, because Kyle Gibson has certainly, even with his 5 ERA, has been more worthwhile than Carlos Santana. Bless his heart. But yeah,
the Brewers
Milwaukee,
though.
Hold on, first of all, William Contreras is so freaking good, but you get a little Jackson Chourio opposite field homer. He's starting to swing it. You got a Reese homer. Bryce Terang is hitting against righties, which is great.
That's the one that I did not expect. I assumed that their second baseman Bryce Terang was just going to be essentially
he was going to be
Colton Wong type, where it's great defense, not a lot of pop, put the ball in play, can go on the bases, whatever. He hits 7th for you, and he's just not an interesting offensive player. He's really added a lot to his game this year, where he's a lot more dynamic than he'd been in the past.
Again, they're perfectly platooning him. He's only received 6 plate appearances against left-handed pitching, and he's 0 for 6 in those 6 plate appearances. But he's got a 968 OPS against right-handers, which is again, this is what Tampa has done so well, is just perfectly maximizing your players in a way. And he's got 10 steals and hasn't been caught, right? So he's leveling up in a really impressive way, which just makes their whole lineup, not to mention Blake Perkins is just that's a whole other wild, thing. But credit to them that he's a guy that's stepped up in a way that, Sal Frelick hasn't necessarily, really gotten going offensively. He's hitting, but not necessarily for power yet. So it's a solid team. I'm still looking at this pitching staff and saying, how in the hell is this working? And that was what was so disappointing when you watch the Cardinals this weekend. Is it's score some runs against some of these arms, but the Brewers are proving a lot so far. They're solid.
I understand it's early, but the Cardinals are already 6 games back at the Brewers, and that's a decent amount of games. 6 games it's more than 5. So keep an eye on that.